This is Islam Live. We'd like to welcome you to the program. I want to say Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm El Hajj Asim Abdullah Babatou, here with my brother, Kwaku Dadzi. Hey, past few weeks we've been talking about commandments. Last week we talked about a little bit of a variety of things about Islam, but today we just want to share a few more of the commandments about Allah, with you. One of the commandments that I want to say first, because of something that's beautiful that happened, and it is Al-Baqarah, which is in chapter 2, and Allah says, and spend on others what we have provided for you. That's one of the commandments in Al-Baqarah. And the reason I wanted to open that up with, I want to thank my dear cousin, Kim Joseph in New Jersey, what she does during her birthday, which is tomorrow, the first 12 days of December, she always finds somebody to help out or do something to make things easier for them. This year, she gave a charitable donation to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. We are going to take that donation and put it towards Tariq Jadid. Tariq Jadid, as we know, is the plan or the funds that go toward the building of mosques around the world, hospitals, sends out missionaries in places, schools, print literature in all the different languages. So Kim Joseph, my dear cousin in New Jersey from the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, want to say Jazakumullah, God bless you. Also, I want to say happy birthday. God grant you long life and good health. We need more people like my dear cousin who just sit out of the kindness of her heart. She sees what the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is doing through me and around the world. She decided to visit our page, just seeing the things we're doing. And says, I wanted to make a donation to your organization. And I thought it was just very beautiful. But again, you see, that's one of the commandments from Allah. He said, spend on others what we have provided for you. Because everybody, we know we're going to buy ourselves nice things and do nice things for ourselves. But how many people really want to make sacrifices to help others? And so again, I thank you so very much, my dear cousin. So again, we want to continue to talk about the commandments, which the Quran has over 700 commandments. We know Moses was given the 10 commandments, which we find in the Old Testament. And but to expound on that, the Holy Quran, which was given to the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, had over 700 commandments. Has over 700 commandments. And these are commandments that we live by each and every day. So we want to continue further in discussing them. And I'm going to start off just reading something. Here's from chapter 6, which is Al-An'am, and this is verses 152 through 154. And it says, say, come, I will tell you what your Lord has really forbidden you. Do not ascribe anything as partners to him. Be good to your parents. Do not kill your children in fear of poverty. We will provide for you and for them. Stay well away from committing obscenities, whether openly or in secret. Do not take the life Allah has made sacred except by right. This is what he commands you to do. Perhaps you will use your reason. Stay well away from the property of orphans, except in the way that is best until they come of age. Give full measure and weight according to justice. We do not burden any soul with more than it can bear. When you speak, be just even if it concerns a relative. Keep any promises you make in Allah's name. This is what he commands you to do, so that you may take heed. This is my path, leading straight, so follow it, and do not follow other ways. They will lead you away from it. This is what he commands you to do, so that you may refrain from wrongdoing. So these are just some of the commandments that Allah talks about. And, we talked about some of these, about being good to one's parents. We know that where it says, honor thy mother, honor thy father. And that one that talks about, do not kill your children in fear of poverty, because there was a time where individuals would kill their children because they was poor, and they said, well, I can't feed this child. But in today's age and time, what you find more than anything is people putting their kids up for adoption, knowing that they can't take care of that child. But what the Allah says, I will provide for you and them. So when you lay down with an individual and decide to, have sexual relations, and through that lady becomes impregnated, that man needs to be there to whatever struggles that she goes through, they go through them together, even if he is not with that woman, for the better of that child. And that is one of the biggest problems here we see right now, especially in the African American community. We see all the crime and all the bad things happening, but it's those first two things is the fear of God, not having that concept, then that family first, about killing your children. Even though you're not physically killing them, you kill them by running away and not supporting them, not doing the things you're supposed to do. You killed that child.
Some abandon their children at places they think somebody else might. Some dump them in the garbage.
Exactly. Yeah, you see all those things happening. So that is what is that right there is talking about. So some humble requests, and anybody out there, and I know we all know somebody who are going through trying times or did something that they're not proud of, be it giving up a child for adoption or just not taking care of their children. That's the biggest thing I see right now, especially in the African American community. There are so many, like you always hear, oh, that's his baby mama drama. But that young man shouldn't be laying down with all these different women, knowing he can't even support the first one. So why are you going to go create a second, a third, and a fourth? These are the commandments from Allah that you should abstain from doing all those things. So again, if that individual had that commandment and understood the fear of God, he wouldn't be doing that. So that's why it's an obligation to us as parents, and even us who are neighbors or relatives, uncles and aunts and cousins and papas, grandfathers, grandparents, all of those things. It is our obligation to be there for a community. Like I said, it takes a community to raise a child.
Very good.
It really does. It really takes a community. Not as just that home, but everybody what's outside of that home. Because when that kid leaves home, you become the parent away from home. And this is when I talk to the students in schools. I always tell them that teacher is an extension of your parent away from home. Because then I always ask them, do you listen to your parent? So why don't you want to listen to the school teacher? This school teacher has made a sacrifice. Say, I'm going to come back to my community and teach. Because I'm an educator. I want to educate you so that you can be just as good as I am or better. But unfortunately, a lot of our kids are not given that discipline, that structure at home. So what happens is they come to school, they are disobedient, they laugh, teacher's face, they become the class clown, they never learn anything, and then unfortunately, the public school system pushes these kids on through, and the school kid graduates and can't even read at a third grade level. And this is what you see right now, and I hear about this post-traumatic slavery syndrome, which is something I personally don't agree with. I don't believe that is what our people are suffering from because they're too far away from slavery. They're just too far away from it. My mother picked cotton, but I didn't see her acting like this. Her mother picked cotton. She didn't act this way. I knew that they picked cotton. I didn't act this way. I've seen cotton. I was around in Georgia. I seen all this. It's just something we talk about it so much about slavery that it's embedded in their minds. Instead of saying all the positive things that they can do versus, okay, this is what happened to your ancestors. Make sure this never happens again by educating yourself. But all of these are commandments from Allah. And that's why, again, pick up the Holy Quran. Pick up the Bible. Pick up the Vedas. Pick up the Torah. Pick up any of God's texts, his books, and read some of these. You will see some of these commandments that we as mankind should be following. Did you have some commandments that you would like to share with the viewers?
Yes, I think I will just comment on the piece you read.
Okay, all right.
It has probably more than 10 commandments.
Yes, absolutely.
Heavily loaded. And we have already mentioned here that these commandments, as we find in the Holy Quran, have been in other books. But there is an extension of these commandments in the Holy Quran. And it's been simplified to a point that you just read the sentence and it's like regulations that have been made by the local assembly or the national assembly for you. These are basic rules for sustenance in God's creation. What I have here is the first. I think, like in schooling, we grade the course and build upon it. Unfortunately, when it comes to admonishing kids to grow up the way we expect them, that graduation doesn't come. Because the school has a curriculum they follow. The home should also have a curriculum. You see, the home should have a curriculum. In fact, they should synchronize the school and the home curriculum. Should synchronize. So that when we say it takes a village to raise a child, that's a Ghanaian proverb. Exactly. What it means is that, and I grew up in that, those days, if you are a kid, if you are a child, you belong to the whole community beside your parents. Anybody older than you, even your colleagues, deserve the same respect as you expect to be given. And the message for growing up, like the Bible says, show the child the path to follow. And when he grows up, he will not depart from the path that is followed. That path, that is these regulations, these commandments we have in the Quran, are not just to be presented in the church Sunday or in the mosque on Fridays or in any other religious body on the religious days. It is to be lived. So what the parents are telling the kid, the child at home, must kind of couple into what the school is building. Exactly. In effect, at the village level, every adult can discipline any child at any time, anywhere within the community. So that the child has no hiding place. Exactly. You see, the bell should be ringing from all corners. And if that is the only thing the child hears, he will imbibe it. He will know that is the way to grow up in that community. Wow. Sadly enough, so much freedom, liberty, individual rights, yes, these are given by God. Exactly. Man is born free. But man has innate, inherent issues that incite him to do the wrong thing. Exactly. And these issues have to be addressed as we put in the, you see, in teaching. If the child has a misconception, if he has a wrong opinion about something, and you want to put in the right one, you have to remove the wrong one from the head before you put in the right one. Yes. Otherwise, the two will coexist in the same head. Unfortunately. Yes. Exactly. And when the child is faced with a situation where he should implore the good, if the one for the evil is not adequately suppressed, that could also show up. And he might opt for that, especially when it is the line of least resistance. That is, my commandment I would want to add to this is that first and foremost, we must agree that there is a creator. Absolutely. There's one creator. There is one creator. And this is what we should infuse into the children as they grow. And wherever they go to, the adults must act in a way as to impress upon the child that there is a creator. And there is a manual, there is a role to live in the creation to enhance peace, unity, love, and development. Absolutely. Anything short of that, the child ends up more confused than ever. If the home shields the child who commits offenses outside, you know the school is wasting its time.
Exactly. And I'm going to piggyback off of two things you said. Like when you said, when that child, whatever is going on at home, if he's getting the right discipline and the structure, and he goes to school, they give him the same thing, and everybody around, he has nowhere to hide.
This is it.
And unfortunately, society has given him a place to hide to say, if your children are disciplined, if your parents are disciplining you, it's child abuse. So even in school, because when I came up, the principal had his little paddle and they was able to hit you. I don't care if it was just in your hand or on your behind. Now that's child abuse.
Yes.
This is what we see. This is the reason why we see the state of our youth today. They go to school, they rebel. You can't say anything, and that's why some teachers say, you know what? I'll give him the bathroom pass. I don't care if he don't come or she don't come back for the rest of the hour, because now I can teach the students that want to be taught, and that kid just walks to the classroom. So now he's got a hiding place. The hallways becomes his hiding place instead of that parents making sure that, hey, you know what? You can discipline I'm giving you permission to discipline my child. Because I remember that's just how it was when we came up. And the other thing, when you talked about the one God concept, that, and I'm just going to read this, when it talks about do not associate anything with him, it says, there's only one God. To believe that there is anyone else who shares the divinity with Allah is shirk, a blasphemy, a major sin. Belief in Tawhid, or in the oneness of Allah, is the true, most logical and reasonable principle. All other beliefs in duality or multiplicity of gods have no foundation in truth, reason, or reality. So, like you were saying, he's been taught something here and there, and those things are confusing because one side says you can do this, one side you can do that. So he said, okay, well, I'm over here, this is what I can do. Now I'm over here, this is what I can do. See, Muhammad Ali said some of the things about the African American a long time. He said, we're brainwashed. We have to be re-brainwashed. So now you have to get certain things that are in our mind, you have to get that out.
Yes.
And what he's talking about is the commandments of Allah needs to be put back in the head of our children. And not only our children, but even some of our adults. The concept of Allah has to be put back in there. So if it's not, you're not even thinking. Some of these commandments are nothing to you. It's like, he can't tell me what to do. But Allah, he commands you to do this. These are the commandments of Allah. So go ahead.
I would go to a point where virtually we'll take off, more or less. And that is the 91, verse of chapter 3.
Okay, Al-Imran.
Yes, Al-Imran. It says, in the creation of the heavens and earth, and in the alternation of the night and the day, there are indeed signs for men of understanding. Precisely. Those who remember Allah standing, sitting, and lying on their sides, and ponder over the creation of the heavens and the earth, and say, O Lord, thou hast not created this universe in vain. Holy art thou. Save us then from the punishment of the fire. The Bible says, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. How about when the wisdom is acquired? That must be attained probably as you grow. Now, in the commentary, it says the grand system to which an allusion has been made in the previous verse could certainly not have been brought into being without a definite purpose. The whole purpose, when man ponders over the spiritual implication of the physical phenomenon of the creation of the universe and consummate order that pervades it, he is deeply impressed by the great wisdom of the Creator. And from the innermost depths of his being raises the cry, our Lord, thou hast not created this universe in vain. What this is saying in effect is that, one, we have to accept that there is a living God who has created the universe. The living God has created the universe, and it has the rules for living in the universe. Man was the last thing to be created and was made in charge, put in charge of everything. But because we have accountability to render on the day of judgment, we have the free will to choose good from bad. This, in effect, is telling us that Allah's creation is ordered, structured in such a way that we have to follow it religiously to be able to derive the maximum benefit from the creation. Now, this piece actually is telling us that creation was mastered by God, Allah. Creation was mastered by God. And everything is in its place to make sure that the last creation, man, being obedient, should really derive the maximum benefit from the existence. And in all cases, remembering the Creator. Everything is a supplement. Everything is at the disposal of the individual. Yes. But like the Bible says, the Quran says, you have access to everything, but it's not everything that is good for you. You know, so it's a big responsibility on us to make sure that all that should go into the upbringing of the child, all hands have to be on deck and must talk with a uniform voice, so that wherever the child finds himself, at home, at the playground, at the school, the prime, that is the supremacy of the Creator must prevail. And the directions for whatever one is engaged in has to really prevail. In fact, I was going to just give a few examples of what we need to appreciate. We have to pause and observe the wonders of nature. We pause and wonder, observe the wonders of nature. Now, we have air, we have water, we have solid bodies. In science, we say the physical state of substances. If you go back to think about what we take for granted and live in it and feel we have 100% freedom to do whatever we like, you will really pause and appreciate that even around us there is air. Which has, we don't see it. We don't see it. Unless the wind is blowing, you feel there must be something. You don't see it. But just the air itself, if you go into it and you find the composition, a little bit of elementary science gives you the composition of the air, you wonder, there is oxygen there. Oh, that is what we require for our very, very sustenance. We take in oxygen, we bring out carbon dioxide. That is what the plants rely on. You see how creation has a fashion, so there is a cycle.
So we're living in tune with each other.
Interdependence.
We give them the carbon monoxide,
yes.
They give us the oxygen.
That is it.
Exactly.
This is it. And what happens is, if you break the cycle in any way, like you hew down the forest, you destroy the hills, all in the name of development, what in fact you are doing is that the plants that should take the carbon dioxide is being cut down in their numbers. Yes, the record numbers.
And let me just say this for you, I forget. I was watching the show. It showed that the Amazon rainforest is responsible, I believe, about 1/3 of all the oxygen on the planet. Just right there. So 1/3 of all the oxygen on this planet comes from the Amazon rainforest.
That is it. That is it. Now, to think about oxygen that is needed for our sustenance, science has actually taught us that the oxygen in the air is about 20%.
Exactly.
20%. Carbon dioxide, a fraction of 1%. And this is being replenished by the plants. So if we deplete the plants, we are further cutting down while the population of man increases. You see?
All of the toxins that we're putting in from
very good, very good.
Cars and all that stuff.
This is it. The cars kind of pumping out the carbon dioxide plus other elements that are put in to improve combustion and all that kind of thing. So in short, what I want to say is that we need to pause and examine our very environment that sustains us and appreciate how God has been kind to us. Indeed, the oxygen percentage of around 2021 has nitrogen, which is virtually inert under ordinary circumstances, has over 70%. Now, without that, a flame will just blast it. This is it. So God, in His wisdom, has diluted that to make it safe for us to breathe, for us to use fires, and everything. Come to water. In science, everything is in the Holy Book. The Quran does not shy away from the scientific discoveries. Man thinks he has produced some wonderful things. But how about the man himself? Who made the man himself?
And that's what I always try to tell people, that, see, man really creates none. Is the mind of man what Allah has given him, and the resources around him that Allah has given him that allows him to create. Man really creates nothing. His Allah He is the creator of all things. So that's it.
Let me give you
one more. We got about a minute left here, though.
Okay, a very simple case about water. I mean, we have air, water, and then other solid materials, the 3 states of matter. Now, almost everything increases in size as you increase the temperature. So when you lower the temperature, it has to decrease in size. There is one thing, which is water, which at a point where it should turn into solid, it only happens at the surface. Why? Because if God had not created it in that manner, aquatic life will freeze fishes will die, plants, everything else will die. Water is the only substance which below zero, instead of shrinking further into solid, it expands, increasing the density, and therefore it floats. That's why people go fishing in winter. You drill the ice and the water still remains. You know, these are some of the magical little things that we need to appreciate to force us or to drive us into studying nature, obey those simple laws, and preserve it.
Exactly. Hey, I'm going to give you this one more commandment here before we close out. And this is says, Allah says, follow the straight path, because only my path is straight. Other paths are not straight, and they shall not lead you to me. So that is the last commandment we want to leave you with. And again, you know, like I said, with over 700 commandments in the Holy Quran, I'm requesting those of you who have the Holy Quran, pick that Quran up, look at some of those commandments, adhere to those commandments, teach your children those commandments, because there's way more than 10 commandments. For those of you who don't have a Holy Quran, if you want one, you know you can just reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to give you a Quran. But you can also go to our website, go to alislam.org, click on library, and you will see Holy Quran. You can read the Holy Quran in the extensive commentary or the short commentary, and it will explain every verse that you see. Also, you've seen us giving reference to particular verses, like when he said 109, if you're not reading, and that was Al Imran 109, if you're not reading one of our Qurans, you're going to find that 108. I gave reference to something in
191.
Oh, 190, or 190, 190, so that would be 190. And I gave reference to something in Al Anam when I said verses 152 to 154. If it's not Quran with translation of the Amdus community, you will find that verses 151 through 153. Hey, we'd really like to thank you all for supporting us here at Islam Live. We truly, truly appreciate you all. Hey, every Tuesday we're down at Collectivo Coffee, 2999 North Humboldt Boulevard, from 7 to 8 p.m. for Real Talk on Islam. And then every second and fourth Tuesday, we're over at the Sherman Phoenix, 3536 West Fond du Lac, from 4:30 to 6 p.m. for Real Talk on Islam. And we'll be right here at this masjid this Friday for Real Talk on Islam. We're going to also have an open house that if anybody's welcome to come. We'll be doing a PowerPoint presentation on Muhammad and the Bible. That'll be from 6:30 to 7:30, but we can stay longer after the presentation, and we'll make prayers with any questions you may have. But remember also, Juma, every Friday, right here at 5600 West Fond du Lac. Come join us, see how Muslims worship. Come and talk, come get you some dinner. You have anything before we close here?
Well, I would want to remind the listeners that what we do here is virtually to open the conversation on talking about religion, our faith. We will be talking the same thing in different languages and think we are virtually at loggerheads with each other. That is far from the truth. If the religious book is the righteous one that God has sent through the messenger or the prophet. So that is all I have.
Yep. Thank you for supporting us at Islam Live. We want to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.